quickly do something for fun? This question requires your very honest answers, as you can send it through our official Facebook page, that is ABN Middle Page. Well, while I let you ponder on that, I remain your host, Amazing Ekedebe, and you are welcome once again to the Middle Page. Well, it will be at this time that we would introduce the discussion-focused topic and the conversation dimension to be explored for the show. Do stay tuned and let's see how far we can go with all of this. Okay, well, like you already know, you are still watching the Middle Page on ABN TV, and our discussion topic still remains achieving work-life balance for improved well-being, paying attention to important aspects that we must incorporate to live better while earning a living or pursuing our various career fulfillment. Today's society is analyzed as a fast-paced world where everything is happening at the speed of light. Man, being a social animal, cannot live alone, and he must satisfy certain natural basic needs in order to survive. This includes entering relationships with other humans that creates the theory of mutual independence, as no man can break the shackles or the connection of mutual independence, which interprets in seeking companionship, forming a family, and basically bonding with other persons. However, in recent times, we found out that such human tendencies in the society today has been greatly compromised, whereby families have been torn apart constantly by work, as parents and children, couples, husbands and wives, lovers and what have you, live separately in different cities, towns, states, or countries, all in the bid to satisfy certain complicated work demands, which influences certain relationships, as people now barely have time for each other, even those who live in the same area together with them. According to the International Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, more than 1 out of 10 employees work more than 50 hours per week, which is considered a very long and destructive factor to basic well-being. This also reflects in the escalation of stress-related sicknesses like high blood pressure, weight loss, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, asthma, and many other health-threatening situations. From another area of importance, despite the improvement in technology, young people have been identified in the workforce as constantly fighting with depression or are already depressed as we speak, which reflects in the remarkable number of suicide attempts recorded in recent times. People in the workforce hardly have time to take adequate care of themselves and their loved ones, especially during illnesses. Nigeria, like other nations of the world, also faces economic challenges and the labor market pressure, alongside other issues like poor leadership impunity, insufficient social infrastructure, high level of poverty, high unemployment, and corruption, to name a few. Studies on the impact of work-life balance on job satisfaction in Nigeria has also shown that people who have better work-life balance tend to work 25% harder than those who feel overworked, which also has its consequences, as many people spend their time at work in order to make money and hardly have time to make a life. It is no surprise that an increasing number of people feel depleted, overwhelmed, and discouraged. And in worse situations, there have been cases of burnout, strained mental health, relationship problems, and a lesser sense of satisfaction to life in general, which means that as much money as you think you need to make, sometimes it's not enough for you to have a happy life. These issues call for a balance in the life of every individual, especially those that are actively working. Balance between work life, family, personal, and social life is important, so none of these aspects of one's life suffers. Well, and extensive information I just gave you right there. But in view of these concerns and making efforts to changing this narrative, let's get into the discussion in full and bring on board my guests on this interesting and crucial discussion today. In the studio today, I have a registered nurse, midwife, who is also an occupational health advocate who educates workers, organizations, and other members of the working sector on achieving maximum productivity. She is none other than Mrs. Uduak-Abasi Nkanta. I feel like beating the drums, but anyway, we'll make do with that.
Oh, sure, after
Welcome to the middle page.
Thank you so much for
And
having me.
I must say, I'm totally glad that you could make it possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I find it is a privilege to reach out to people so they can work well and have maximum productivity.
That's awesome. Okay, now let's get into the conversation in full. With everything that has been said so far about work life, let's start by attempting to address some of the questions that I asked the viewers before we started, and that is the part about how they feel when they wake up every day, and the thought of the fact that, oh, I have to get ready for work. You know, from that point where we pay attention to how we feel when we wake up in the morning, how can we interpret that as maybe some sort of an analysis of how our work life actually looks like?
All right, thank you so much. First of all, I have to appreciate you once again for this privilege. And I want to say, briefly, like you've explained, having a work-life balance is trying to get yourself the priority of what you have to do as an individual. As much as work is important to us, but there are other things that are important. So analyzing and knowing what each and individual can do is that as an individual in the present Nigerian situation, we know we have a poor economic situation as it is right now. So every average individual wants to meet up with the targets, okay, of paying bills and supporting his or her own family that is dependent on them. Okay, so this poses a whole lot of pressure on individuals because there's this expectation they're having. And because of this, they tend to get some jobs that they really don't want to do, but just because they want to pick their bills, they want to support people that are depending on them, it goes a long way to they just do whatever comes their way. And that, of course, gives them this mental, I don't feel like going to work today, but I just have to pick bills. So that's the assessment I can give in the Nigerian setting. But of course, if you have work-life balance, it will help you to balance other parts of your life and not just going to work.
But then, with what you've said so far, you've indirectly identified that there's some abnormalities when it comes to the typical work schedule that a working class or a worker in Nigeria has to go through.
Yes.
Now, if we have an improper work structure or we have a work breakdown or what have you that is not exactly appropriate, then how can you achieve work-life balance? Because, you know, it looks like an already defeated battle because the factors or the tools that you would use to achieve some level of balance that is important is defeated with such abnormalities. But then, is there a way that even with all of this unfavorable circumstances that our working environment has suddenly, you know, churned out, that we can still have a healthier work-life balance?
Oh, sure, we can. We can. So quickly, let me put this other part of the view. You know, there are lots of people that I said some people do work they don't love to do, and other people do work they actually love to do, so they bury their head into it and have to do so much more because this is what I love to do and I'm giving so much, and you forget every other part of your life. So now, what are the things we have to do like individuals? First of all, you have to identify who you are. Because if you identify who you are, you identify your strengths, you identify your weaknesses, you identify your responsibilities, then you will be able to say, okay, this is the level I can stop. This is what I can do. Then you identify your work, understand your kind of work. Is it a kind of work that is best done in the mornings, in the afternoons, or in the night? Okay, when you harness your strength, when you harness your personality with your work, you'll be able to strike a balance. You'll be able to say, okay, this is the level I can do. This is what I can do. That is what will help you to put up your plans very well, because it will not be like the other person's plan. You're not going to be working under pressure because you see the next person working like 9 to 8 to 5. Okay, so you feel you should take an 8 to 5 job. So even when you have people in your setting, a setting like this, doing an 8 to 5 job, you have to understand what is peculiar to you. That will help you to set your goals while you're at work. That will also help you to set your priorities. You'll be able to say, this is what I want to achieve even when I'm working here. This is what I can do even when I'm working here. And you also have to understand what your job description is, because some people just pick up jobs just because they want to pick bills. But you have to ask yourself, how long can you stay on this job? Okay, so you don't break down, not just because you want to pick bills. There's this saying that says you have to work to live, don't live to work. So when you get it in your mind that you have to work to live, whatever you're working is because you want to live, not because you just want to work. So that also brings me to a point of having breaks for yourself. Okay, I talked about setting goals, setting your timetables on what to do. You do your to-do lists. I know you know so many people know a lot of to-do lists.
Do they really know? Well, they may know its existence, but then, sometimes I realize that a lot of us know a lot of this very technical things, but the issue is interpreting it as a part of our lives. For instance, like priority lists and to-do lists. As much as we know they exist, but I can tell you, a lot of us hardly use it.
Of course, because we are not conscious of work-life balance. Because if you know very well that if you put your priorities up and you set your time, it will help you to balance your life. So we are all about work. We just want to work. We don't want to balance every other part. We feel, oh, if I come back home and they don't have money for me, they will not appreciate me. They will not love me. So you are going out there to work so that you get the money so they appreciate you. Meanwhile, it would just be your time that they are looking for. They're looking for your time, your presence. But because you want to work, so they appreciate you, you now flip it the other way. But
so it isn't all about the money all the time?
No, you have to balance your life, because your life is not just about the money.
But money does a lot of things.
Yes, it does, but who are you making the money for? I know of a particular woman that had to leave her job in the banking system because her daughter, her 3-year-old daughter, preferred the maid to her. So she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So the people you're actually working for need you too. So you need to balance it.
Okay. So which is to say that when we understand our priorities and practice some of these theories that we're introduced to, it helps us have a better perspective about things.
Exactly.
Especially as regarding work-life balance.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's look at analyzing the overall well-being of the average Nigerian. For instance, we are now in a society where there is a new theory that you need multiple sources of income in order for you to fare above water in the current Nigerian economy, and which is to say that one source of income is no longer enough. But then let's look at it at how this also aggravates an already existing problem. Because imagine if I do a 9 to 5 as my primary source of income, and then it looks like that isn't enough and I have to do like some other jobs. Am I not, like I still say, am I not still tilting more into the defeating or to the to the failing side of this battle to achieving work-life balance. So how do all of this, unveiling or, I'm trying to get the right word, but how do these new developments, these new dimensions in our today's society, the economy and what have you, how do all of this affect our well-being as an average Nigerian, on the realistic perspective before we actually look at how to go about it? With your, and also with your experience and interaction with persons, how would you describe the average state of well-being of Nigerians?
Practically speaking, I have to say that many apologies to people that don't practice work-life balance, because this is a reality that we did not begin for. Having a 9-to-5 job is beautiful, and as much as that is beautiful, not everyone in the average Nigerian system can have a 9-to-5 job. And that makes us to go into acquiring other side hustles. The savior to all of this is having a good work balance. That's the savior. It's not doing many things that is the problem. It's setting your priorities and knowing which one is best per time to do. Because the people that are actually doing so much, they still have 24 hours. But yet, they have to look at other parts of their lives. Some people feel they can handle so many responsibilities per time. They don't want to set boundaries. They don't want to say a no where they need to say a no, because they don't want to get the other person upset. But the truth is, if you are off the system, or if you're off that environment or that person's life, the person still continues. So there is always a need for us to get back to ourselves, set our priorities, set your boundaries, and understand the limits of which you can go. Like I said in the beginning, the key to this is understanding who you are, understanding your personality, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, this will help you to say, even if I want to pick 2 to 3 other sources of income, how much can I go with this? And then you don't have to put pressure on yourself. You have to know that by beats, you don't get things all done per time. You have to take your time knowing that things grow. In as much as you have to take responsibility of things, you are not just the only one to take responsibility. Take, for example, children. There is a level to which you can provide for a child. But when it gets to a certain level that child is grown, okay, he takes responsibility for himself. But you see, in a present situation, most parents want to take responsibility for their children far beyond what they can do.
Like the whole mentality of I want to give my life a better, I want to give my children a better life than I had.
Exactly. So that puts pressure on you. Now, flip it this other way. If you live longer with these children, they tend to enjoy better than for you to sow in your life. And at the end of it, because of your health, okay, you cannot stay longer. Because you cannot choose what really happens to you, but you can, by what you do, you can prolong your life. But if you ignore these things, it will not help you. So taking extra jobs or side hustles is no way bad, is no way detrimental to health. What makes it detrimental is that there is no balance. That is what makes it detrimental.
So which means that brings to fore adapting or implementing certain principles, because, while listening to you, one principle that came to mind is the principle of time management.
Exactly.
And other things. So now let's look at those principles and linger a little bit about this whole change that comes up continuously in our society today. And and also the part you said about saying no, and also the part about you saying that we should learn to know that all of these things are a gradual process. Let me take you back to my previous statement about the emphasis on having more than one source of earning or income and the pressure that comes with it. And let's also look at the principles that we need to adapt to achieve it and how you can balance both of this to a point where you are realistic enough to know what to say. Okay, let me try this to see if I can make money, or no, 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 this is too much for me, I can't do this. Because the problem, I think, is that a lot of Nigerians do not know where to say no. They do not know where to draw the line. So how can we incorporate that while still trying to fare better economically, and then not forgetting paying attention to some important principles that we need to start adapting more as members of the working class?
Okay, thank you so much. Now, in B2, answering that question, you have to know very well why you're working. Some people work just because they want to make money. Like we have all emphasized that it's all about making money and paying bills. But you have to understand that work is not just about paying bills. You have to work also in places that you are passionate about. I wanted to put that because we are so overwhelmed right now that you get frustrated and you cannot even concentrate at work. So first of all, it comes to a point of understanding who you are, and even if we are pressured by the economy, pressured by unemployment, okay, but we should also not
Pressured
forget.
by poverty.
Yes, pressured by poverty. We should not forget who we are. Okay, we should not forget to strive to where we actually want to get to. Now, that brings me to the second point that says you have to understand what you are doing. When you understand that this work is best working with someone and I cannot do everything alone, you outsource. If it has to do with you alone, then you understand that I am doing this alone, because there are so many opportunities that come up to people, and before you know it, they just pick it up without understanding what the work is like. Now, when you are able to understand your work, you'll be able to schedule your life. Let's not forget, work-life balance is prioritizing whatever you want to do in such a way that it does not affect your professional, does not bring a clash between your professional life and your personal life. So that helps you to bring energy to you and also gives you time. So when you now have time, because the battle we are battling here is a battle of time. When you have extra time, you're going to have time for your family. You're going to have time for social lifestyle. You're going to have time for your hobbies. But if you don't have time, if you don't create time for yourself by placing a balance, then that is when every other part of your life suffers. You hear people say, oh, so what do you want her to do? Do you want her to leave job and then come to take care of her children? Or do you want her to leave job and attend your ceremony? Of course, if you need to maintain a good social relationship, there have to be a time that you have to attend her ceremony. For you to maintain a good mental health, you have to interact with people. When you understand your kind of job, you will understand how to harness other activities. Like if you're working alone or you have a workspace that is just you or two other persons, you will understand that the activities outside job you have to do is not a mono kind of activity. You have to do activities that involve other people. Now, in that light, you've been able to harness your activity and your social life when you are outside your work. So why I really emphasize on understanding your personality and your kind of work, because these are the frontiers to maintaining a good work-life balance. Now, then we also talked about how to schedule your time. It is very important because the essence of all this is time. If we had more than 24 hours, maybe we wouldn't have been talking about this. Or probably if there is a shift of time, we wouldn't have been discussing about work-life balance. But since we cannot have a grasp on time, we have to work with time, in time, to achieve what we have to achieve. And I have to say this, a lot of people work and don't take breaks. In whatever you're doing, you need to give yourself a break.
No matter the deadline?
No matter the deadline. because you might actually be the one at the dead end. So give yourself break. I know that you're pressured. I know that you actually set a time for yourself that you want to achieve this. But don't be too hard on yourself. In the end, you are all you've got. In the end. So why don't you relax? You know, some people make up schedules and they don't even give chances to incorporate other things in life. You feel, I should follow this, I should follow this. In as much as you have to be disciplined on your schedule, on your to-do list, on your priorities, but you also have to be flexible, because in the end, what you're looking for is results. And let's not forget, the result is not just one-sided. We are trying to balance family, you have to balance society, you have to balance your individual self. So it's important for us to take breaks. And I quickly want to say this to employers. It is important to give your employees breaks. Because you see, our Nigerian system is not like developed countries where the work pay are, as in they are paid per hour. If I put in 5 hours, I get money for 5 hours. So you have to also consider that your employee is trying to do other things to meet up, because lots of people don't even give them enough pay, and you still want to take their time. So it's important for employers to look into how to give breaks for their employees so that they can thrive.
So, with how it's going, it's a two-way traffic.
Yes,
While you, the worker, has a part to play, you, the employer as well, has to create an enabling situation in order to help in this very growing concern when it comes to work-life balance. Well, don't forget, our conversation still evolves around achieving work-life balance in today's society and how this also is important when it comes to improved well-being, paying attention to the Nigerian society. As my guest still remains a professional, occupational hazard advocate, who is Mrs. Uduak-Abasi Nkanta. And she's also a registered nurse and midwife, I have to add that, which means that that connects with the medical part of this discussion. Well, while we give you some time to digress, to ponder, to take in everything that's been given to you so far, don't forget, this is still the middle page on ABN TV. And when we come back, we'll go into another dimension, especially when it comes to gender disparity, and how this also interprets in some of, well, I say, the tight corners we put ourselves into without even knowing it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, while we're talking about work-life balance, I just had my team tell me backstage that after this work we're doing right now, we should have a carton of drinks and carton of things to eat. Well, maybe management can pay attention to that and we'll see what we can do. You know what they say about practicing what you preach. So, guys, you've heard me. We'll pay attention to that after the show. But don't forget, we're still all about achieving work-life balance and how it is important when it comes to improved well-being, especially when it comes to the fact that as we hit the aging phase of our lives, rather than have it be a gradual, or will I say, an easy phase of life, it's now bedeviled with a lot of stress-related health issues, complications, and what have you, and it's becoming pretty disturbing. Don't forget, I got it correctly now, occupational health advocate and also a registered nurse and midwife, Mrs. Uduak-Abasi is still here with us and definitely has been giving us wonderful and professional insight into the conversation today. All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we have been able to establish some major aspects, theories, perspectives, and basically the part we need to play when it comes to achieving work-life balance. But now let's look at some other realities, and that has to do with gender. In recent times, with the statistics, or with various statistics in view, it is saying that the female folk seems to be the hardest hit when it comes to this struggle with work-life balance. As they're saying that there is a rise in singlehood among women, not because they don't have suitors or they don't have opportunities to get married, but because of being overwhelmed with their career drives and ambitions and what have you, they are so caught up with it that by the time that they are probably ready to consider it, it's either a little too late or maybe the suitors who were hanging around have moved on with other persons. But on the other side, the men are not actually having a walk in the park. They too have their share, as when it comes to the increasing burden of responsibilities, the man's expectations and what have you. As it is said that a man above 35 has almost an increase of up to 27% in demands and expectations, not caring or paying attention to whether he is economically stable or prepared for those demands. But just because he's above 30, probably 35, those things just come to play.
Yeah.
Now, what do we do? Where do we start tracing where the problem is coming from when it comes to these gender pressures, its uniqueness, and how do we navigate these routes and realities better and have something better as a life?
Wow. That's really a reality, a very big one. And it's actually one we cannot run away from. So I must say we must help each other because we are all in here to achieve happiness in the end of the day. So it's not about the work we do. The work we do, in the end, whether you're making money or you're having fulfillment, in the end is happiness. It all brings happiness. So we should be able to look out for happiness for each other, okay? Whether the person is your co-worker in the office or the person is a family member or you're depending on the person or the person is depending on you. So why I said that is that pressure is what is making this reality stare at us. Now, for the women, at first, we grew up to know that the men provide for women, and times have changed because of the responsibility that we tend to find ourselves. So whether they're married or whether they're single, there is always this heart a woman has to be of help to their other counter gender. So in that light, where it's not about whether the person is married or the person is not married, it's all about how much you can give. And for the men, you know, the society have painted this picture that if you don't care for your family, okay, or if you don't care, family now might be your brothers, your parents, and family might be your
Extended
wife,
family,
yes,
basically.
and children. So they tend to carry this burden for those people that actually want to carry the burden. All right, I know why I stressed that, because we've seen lots of people that are hanging around and looking for other means to make money and not actually put in the work to achieve this. So for both men and both women, you have to understand that there is a limit you can go. We have to teach ourselves that each person have a responsibility. Now, we grew up in an environment where parents actually take responsibility for their children, which of course is not bad, but you have to draw the line and tell your child that at this age or at that age, you should be able to do this or that. While a little about me, while growing up, it looked as dad was pouring everything on us. Like, you have to do this, you have to do that. He got us involved in so many things he was doing. Now, at first we felt it was a thing, like, why is he like so hard on us? But today, I can tell you unflinchingly that that had really helped. Although then it was not as bad as this. So there is need for us to help each other, whether the person is your child, whether the person is your colleague. You have to tell this person that even if you are doing this, you cannot achieve this, or you are achieving this. You have to balance your life, you know, because it's on flip sides. There are people that are doing so much and they are feeling they have to give in so much so that they achieve it. You know, success could be very intoxicating. You want to do so much and get so much of the upload, or you want to do so much because you have so much bills. And there are people on this other side that they feel because they cannot do so much like the other person, so they are not doing well. So it's on both sides. You have to encourage the other person that you don't need to be like the other person. You are doing well. And you also let the other person understand that you too, you can calm down. You don't need to be everything for everyone. You have to take your time. You have to also consider yourself. And you cannot give what you don't have. So I started by saying, tell other people, encourage other people. So you have to start with encouraging yourself. Because if you don't encourage yourself, be it a woman or be it a man, and telling yourself sometimes, pat yourself at the back and say, you have done well. Okay, when you do that, you will have the courage to stand up, dust yourself from failures, or calm down and say, okay, fine, I have done this, but I don't need to neglect other aspects of my life. Because the truth is, there is always this part that takes a hold of us. It's when you bring yourselves to the cycle, the pie chart, and say which one is next, which one is next. But if you're always going in one direction, definitely you won't have a balance, no matter how successful you are. So the success of a man or a success of a woman, be it married or single, is that you cover every part of the pie chart. Okay, you're not just going on one direction.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Well, while we are paying attention to how pressed we are for time, well, right now, I'm going to request for you to give us some sort of commandment, which means areas we need to pay attention to as a matter of importance when it comes to this conversation of work-life balance and having an improved well-being. With your experience as a nurse, midwife, occupational health advocate, so please, what commandments are you leaving for us to put to mind?
Oh, wow. Oh, the commandments cracked me up. All right, so let me dole out some commandments. All right, first of all, you have to consider your health. Your health is topmost important. Okay, one of my colleagues used to crack joke when she's trying to relieve us, when we lose a patient, trying to relieve us, she said, when the body is so decayed, the spirits can no longer stay there, so it has to leave. And you call it death. It's just the spirit living, okay, because the body is decayed. So what am I saying? For everything that you are doing, you have to understand that there is a place that houses you. You have to understand that your body is actually what gives you the prowess to do whatever you're doing. So you need to pay attention to your body. You know, some people work and they say, I just want to cover up. I just want to cover up. And you forget about your health. Now, health for me is not just about when you get to the hospital. That's when you're taking care of yourself. It starts from prevention. You have to prevent some things. You have to know something about your health and your work. Now, if you were someone that's exposed to the screen, you have to understand that your eyes is your vital tool that you have to work well. So if you lose your eyes, you cannot continue to work. So you have to understand what parts of your work and what part of your body connects. You also have to understand that family is important. And so no matter what you are doing, try to find time to schedule in your family into your life. Because that aspect of your life too is a whole lot. When you're done with work, you have to go somewhere, right? So you have to take care of your family. Balance your family also, balance your social life. And please let me say this, because this part is a part that we so neglect. Balance yourself. We are so far away from self-assessment, self-awareness, and self-improvement. We tend to run just like we used to run, just like it always is. I know I am this, and so I'm standing by this. But situations actually reveal who we are at a time. So when you're first at work, whatever experience you have at work, come back to yourself. That means you have to have time first. Okay, come back to yourself and assess yourself as relating to that situation and tell yourself, how well can I improve? Or did I do well? Or did I not do well? When you do that, you will be a better person to do better work, a better society, a better family. And that is how you're going to balance it. But when you neglect yourself in the equation, then I think you lose everything.
Okay. Well, she tried to be humble about it, but she is indeed giving us some commandments, and which is, O man, O woman, love thyself, and out of it you'll be good. And for everything that you do, don't forget your little beginning. And little beginnings in this context is your body, your health, and your overall well-being. Well, those are little nuggets that I'm actually dropping as a way for you to remember all that we've said on today's edition of the Middle Page, because it would be quite a waste if we do not see some of you having better lifestyle, having healthier well-being, and having a total, or will I say, an almost better work-life balance. All right, that's what we've been all about, achieving improved work-life balance, and how this also improves or affects positively our general well-being. And we've had the honor of getting the tutelage, or the teaching, or the guidance, or will I say, perspective of a registered nurse midwife, and also a very professional occupational health advocate in the person of Mrs. Uduak-Abasi Nkanta. Thank you very much, ma'am. It's such an honor.
Delightful.
And get ready, we will be calling you sometime
Oh my
soon.
God, I can't wait. Thank you.
No problem. And also to you. We'll be coming to you next time, and that wouldn't be a long time from now, where we're going to be picking and getting into the middle of another conversation, as we do always, as it's still the Middle Page on ABN TV. Continue to enjoy our broadcast transmission on StarTime channel 140, and continue to enjoy our live stream on www.abn.ng/live. Also, today, make sure you catch up with all the videos we have while you follow, like, and share your favorite video, including this one, on the program's official Facebook page at ABN Middle Page. What can I say? It's so sad to leave you, but I have to. And looking forward to having a wonderful time with you when next I'm on your screen. My name still remains Amazing Ekedebe. Have a better work life and have a better thing to do for fun this period. Take care of yourself and have a wonderful day.